Hey y'all, it's another Getting Real with Ashleydawn, and I want to talk to you about being true to yourself. I was talking to a friend, and all my videos, if you haven't realized, start out the same way. A conversation with a friend. So I was talking to my friend, and we were just talking about our desires, our hopes, our dreams, and how it's so easy to put our hopes, our dreams, our desires on the back burner because we're so focused on somebody else in our life, whether it's a boyfriend, whether it's a girlfriend, whether it's a mom or a dad, or maybe it's a boss, or maybe it's a coworker, or there's somebody in our life, maybe it's an aunt, or maybe it's cousins or something. There's somebody in our life that we are trying to help or trying to encourage or trying to speak life into, and very easily it becomes our focus is to make their life easier, meanwhile making our life harder. So my friend Debbie and I have had so many conversations about this. She is a helper and a fixer and tries to help and fix everybody, and doesn't do it necessarily because she thinks she's better than other people. She just sees the potential in people and she wants to help them. And I am the exact same way. And it's a struggle because I look at people and I see the potential in them and I see areas that they could grow, and I try to encourage them to grow. And a lot of times, if there's things they don't want to do, I kind of bear the burden of those things and I kind of take those things on as my own. For instance, one of my ex-boyfriends had some kids. He never wanted to go out. He never wanted to do anything with them. Are you going to go, dude? Because I'm waiting and you're not going fast enough to merge over. And this ex-boyfriend of mine, he never wanted to go out. He never wanted to do anything. He was tired all the time. He wanted to take naps all the time. And so I took that burden. Was that my burden to bear? No. Were the kids mine? No. But I took that burden on because I loved them and because I wanted to be a part of their life. And so I would do things with them and I would go places with them. And I made my focus those children. Now, do I love them? Yes. Are they incredible, amazing children that God is using and just going to bless so much in their life? Yes. But was I the dad? No. He had responsibilities that he was neglecting, and I took on those responsibilities because I wanted to help him. My intentions were good, but I ended up taking the weight off of his shoulders and putting it on my own. And I was okay for a while until it built up and built up and built up and built up. And 3 years in, my back is heavy because I'm carrying burdens that aren't mine to carry. My friend Debbie has children, and she wants to help her children and she wants to do stuff for her children all the time. And I tell her, I'm like, there are some burdens that as a mom are not yours to carry. Your children are grown. Those burdens are your children's to carry. You can't carry their backpack in life. And I tell her, it's like a backpack. Everybody is carrying something. And if you walk around collecting everybody else's backpack because it's too heavy, they can't carry it for themselves, and you carry it for them, the only thing that's going to happen is your spine is going to crumble under pressure and you're going to have to see a chiropractor all the time. It's funny because we think that things are just mental, right? We think things are just emotional. We don't realize that the mental and the emotional have a physical effect on our body. That emotions can affect us physically if we don't deal with our emotions. That our mental health can affect us physically if we don't deal with it. Your mental health and your emotions manifest into physical problems. You will have physical problems in your body based on your emotions and your mind not being where they need to be, not being right, not being in a healthy place. Ashleydawn, how do you know all this? Are you a doctor? No, I'm not a doctor. I can't prescribe you anything, but I have went through it. I've carried way more backpacks than I should, and I've felt the consequences of trying to help everyone and trying to fix everyone and trying to do everything for everyone else that really they need to be doing for themselves. For instance, I used to be the designated driver for all of my friends. My dad was run over by a drunk driver in high school. I'm really sensitive on that. And my biggest thing I told my friends, I don't drink, I've never drank, I never will drink, but I told my friends all the time, if you're going to drink, please don't drive. And if you think that you have no possible opportunities for somebody else that's not drinking to drive you, call me. I've never changed my number since high school. It's been the same number. And I told them, call me. Well, they did all the time. 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning when bars are getting out, they would call me and I would stop what I was doing. If I was sleeping, I would wake up. I'd have my phone on all hours of the night and I would pick up. I would get dressed, I would go get them, I would take them where they needed to be, and I would go home. Now, some of my friends lived in Northport. That's an hour each way away, and I would do it. Thank God for Uber. They would call me, and I would say, okay, get an Uber. But I took a burden that wasn't mine to carry. I wasn't the one getting drunk. I wasn't the one being irresponsible and going out drinking without a designated driver lined up. I was making good choices. I was in bed at 10, 11 o'clock at night. I was sleeping. But I was paying a price for other people that wasn't mine to pay. Because I was a good person. Because I wanted to be like Jesus. Because I wanted to show God's love. Jesus called us to love our neighbor as ourselves, but he never called us to be a doormat for them. That's something that took me about 35 years to fully comprehend, and I'm still comprehending. I can't tell you how many times I've read the book Boundaries, boundaries in dating, boundaries in work, boundaries in life, boundaries in friendship. I really had no boundaries. I just let people walk all over me, take advantage of me, and I had a martyr complex. I was doing it for Jesus. But after you get burned and you get taken advantage of and you get used, you get taken for granted, you get hurt over and over and over and over again, you start thinking, there's got to be a better way. This cannot be the way to do it. There's got to be a better way. And there was. And I learned that. And it's called healthy boundaries. It's saying at 5 o'clock on Friday, I'm turning my phone off. And I'm not picking it back up until Monday morning when I'm at work. You're not going to get my time on the clock. I'm not going to be on call for you if you're not paying me for it. It's not going to happen. I've been in too many salaried positions in radio and in all different kinds of things to where, okay, you're working, Monday through Friday, and then you're going to do this event on the weekends, and then you're going to do this event at night, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this, and your salary, so you're not going to get paid extra. Heck no, I'm not doing that no more. I did that for 6 years. I'm done. I'm not doing that no more. My time is the most precious thing I have. You can make more money. You can never make more time, and that's something, like I said, it's taken me 35 years to realize. My time is precious, and I'm not going to let somebody else waste it because they misuse their own. I'm not going to do it. And so my friends that call me that are drunk, I love you, but call an Uber. I'm not getting out of bed. I'm not driving an hour in any kind of direction to come pick you up. I'm not doing it. There's an Uber. If you want to drink, line up an Uber. Line up a designated driver. And I used to feel guilty, and I used to take that burden on my shoulders, and I used to bear that weight, and I'm like, this is not mine to carry. My friend that's a mom, her children are all in their 20s, and she's still doing stuff for them. She's still treating them like babies. No, they are adults. Don't put that burden on your shoulders that is somebody else's to bear. Listen, it's hard enough being responsible for my own life. I'm not going to be responsible for yours. And at the end of the day, and I used to feel guilty about it and be like, well, am I being a good representation of Jesus? And would Jesus do this? Listen, Jesus died on a cross so that I wouldn't have to. So if Jesus took my debt and paid it in full, and Jesus died on a cross so I wouldn't have to, why do I think that I got to die on the crosses of these other people's lives? I didn't even die on my own cross. Jesus died on my cross for me. So why am I trying to be Jesus in all these different people's life? I should be pointing them to Jesus. I should not be Jesus to them. And that's something that's taken me a long stinking time to figure out. I am not Jesus. And for a lot of my life, I tried to be. I tried to be Jesus. I tried to be Jesus to my friends. I tried to be Jesus to my parents. I tried to be Jesus to my boyfriends. I tried to be Jesus to my coworkers and my bosses that weren't following God. But I'm not Jesus, and I can't be him, and I'll never be him, and I'm not going to try. I'm not going to waste my time or energy or mental capacity. I'm not Jesus, but I do know him, and I hope that my life and my choices point you to him. But at no point should you look at me like I'm Jesus, because I'm not. I'm a flawed human being that is trying to do the best she can with what she's got and is leaning on God for the rest. I am not going to carry your backpack for you. You know, in school, I used to carry other people's backpacks if they couldn't carry it. I had friends that were disabled and they couldn't carry their backpacks, and I used to carry their backpacks for them. And that's loving and that's kind. But when they started demanding that I do it and they started taking for granted, oh yeah, Ashleydawn will carry it. That's when I had to say, you know what? Ashleydawn will not carry it. I will not carry your backpack anymore. I will not carry your burdens anymore. I'll sit with you. I'll cry with you. I'll hold your hand. I'll mourn with you. I'll grieve with you. I'll rejoice with you. But at no point in my life am I going to carry a burden that is yours to carry. And the burdens that aren't yours to carry, Jesus is going to carry them for you, not me. It's not my job. I love you, but it's not my job. And if you are a fixer and a helper and you are a servant and you're serving all these people, that's great. Jesus taught us to wash other people's feet just like he washed his disciples' feet. But he didn't lay on the ground and say, okay, disciples, now it's your turn to walk all over me. You need to have healthy boundaries. Get the book Boundaries from the local bookstore, local Christian store. Order it on Amazon. Order it online if you're not local. Christ-centered is awesome if you're in Southwest Florida, Cape Coral, Naples, Port Charlotte area. But if you're not, look it up online. Other people's burdens, other people's consequences for their actions are not yours to pay the price for. No matter how much you love Jesus, that's not on you. When I stand before God, he is not going to ask me what you did. He's going to ask me what I did. And if I'm spending all my time that he's given me worrying about your life, worrying about the things that you're doing, worrying about a boyfriend and what he's doing, or a friend and what they're doing, or a boss and what they're doing, I'm wasting what he's given me, right? The parable of the talents. I'm burying those talents and focusing on your talents. No, God has called me to use my talents to glorify him. God has called me to use the time that he's given me for the purpose that he's given me. And if I'm wasting all my time worried about you, focusing on you, I'm never going to get what he wants me to get done. So I'm done. I'm not taking care of your problems anymore. I'm not carrying your backpack anymore. I'll point you to Jesus and he'll carry it for you, but I won't. Healthy boundaries will save your ever-loving life. Because if you don't have boundaries, you are going to let people walk all over you. In a relationship, you will let people walk all over you. In a work environment, you will let people walk all over you. And when they're done, when they take all that they can take, they'll throw you to the curb. Yeah, be a good person. Yeah, do nice things. But don't pay somebody else's price. Don't die on their cross. Jesus died on their cross for them, not you. Jesus died on your cross for you, not you. I just want to encourage some people that are watching this that have been carrying backpacks for far too long, that have been carrying the weight of other people's decisions on their back for far too long. Listen, you are responsible for you. I know a lot has been happening in the courts, and you know, everybody and their grandmammy's got an opinion and they're putting it on their Facebook and they're putting it all over. Listen, at the end of the day, your life is yours. It's not mine. And this whole cancel culture, if you don't think the way I think, if you don't do what I want you to do, if you don't say what I want you to say, I'm canceling you. Well, then do it. Poof, be gone. I am not going to be a copy of you. I'm not going to have your opinions. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. You're not my God. And at the end of the day, there are so many people that are walking around trying to be somebody else's God. Yeah, you're literally texting and driving. That's why you're going to cause an accident, lady. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm not your God. I'm not your neighbor's God. I'm not your boss's God. I'm not your boyfriend's God. I'm not even my God. There is one God. There is one Jesus, and I ain't him. And I can't do what he can do as far as paying for your debt and paying for your sin and giving you forgiveness. I can't do that. He can, but I can't. And maybe you need to tell people that when they look to you to fix all their problems or to make all their problems go away. Maybe you need to let them know, hey, I'm not Jesus. I love you. I care about you. I'll pray for you, but I am not Jesus. I'm not Jesus. And once you realize that, once you realize that you are not Jesus, once you realize that you can't fix other people's problems, you will be able to sleep at night. You will be able to breathe better. I promise you. Stop dying on other people's crosses. Stop carrying what ain't yours to carry. Yes, you can live like Jesus. Yes, you can love like Jesus. But Jesus died so that you wouldn't have to. So if your hopes and your dreams are dying because you're taking care of somebody else's, that's not showing Jesus' love. That's not showing Jesus' kindness. I don't know where we have thought that we have to be mold and clay in somebody else's hand, and they can tell us how to think, and they can tell us how to feel, and they can tell us what to do. The only hand that we should be in is God's. God should be telling us what to do. God should be showing us how to live. God has given us a life, and he wants us to live it. And if we're so focused on doing everything else for everybody else, like Martha and Mary. Martha was so upset that Mary was just sitting with Jesus. Martha's doing all these different things all over the house. I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. Who put that burden on her? God didn't. God wanted her to sit at Jesus' feet. But she was so busy doing all the things that she needed to do. What things have you told yourself that you need to do? What burden have you put on yourself that God never called you to carry? The burden that Jesus gave us is light. It's not heavy. Why is it light? Because he carries the heavy parts. If we're carrying the heavy parts, something's out of whack. He carries the heavy parts. He leads us and he guides us. And it's like a yoke of oxen, right? There's two oxen. There's one that's stronger and one that's weaker, and then they have a yoke around their neck so that they work together, so they plow the fields. Jesus is the strong oxen, and we're the weak oxen, and he's going alongside of us, and he's carrying the heavy stuff, and we're just supposed to keep up with him. We're just supposed to walk alongside of him, and he's going to show us how, but he's carrying the heavy stuff. We're not. That's why it says in the Bible not to yoke yourself with unbelievers, not to yoke yourself in relationships with people that don't share your values, because you're going to be carrying the heaviness. Because you're going to be Jesus in that relationship. It's supposed to be like a triangle. You, them, and God. And you're both meeting God, and you're meeting each other at the middle. God's in the middle of that yoke. And you guys are just on either side, doing life with him and going through life with him. He's carrying the hard parts, not you. So maybe you need to have some healthy boundaries. Maybe you need to pray about it. Maybe you need to get that book. And you really need to see what God has called you to. And stop putting the pressure to live out everybody else's calling. To do all the things that they don't want to do themselves. And I'm not talking if you're a parent and you have little children. That's different. I'm saying if you have adult children, let them be adults. Give them responsibility. Don't take all the responsibility on you, because God forbid anything ever happens to you, they're going to be up a creek without a paddle. They are going to have no idea how to live in the real world. And honestly, there is a lot of young adults right now that I mentor all the time that have no idea how to live in the real world because they have been babied and they have had zero responsibility their whole life. High schoolers that have never had a job. Get out of high school and go into college and don't have a job in college. Graduate college and can't get a job because they don't know what it's like to work. They want their boss to have the responsibility on their shoulders because they don't know what it's like. Listen, my first job was probably illegal, but I was a child. Granted, I worked for my parents, but they taught me what it was like to have a job, to be responsible, to make my own money, to save my own money. Now, am I amazing with money? No, I'm not saying that. But they taught me enough to know, okay, I got to get a job. I got to pay bills. I got to do this. I got to do this. Did they help me? Yes. But did they do it all? No. Should you help people? Yes. But should you do it all? No. They should have a role to play. They should. I just wanted to encourage you. I have some people in my life that I've just realized I have been carrying them. And it's not my job to carry them. They're heavy. My back hurts. My shoulders hurt. That stress and that burden and that pressure is heavy. It's not mine to carry. And maybe if you've watched this video this long, 22 minutes in, you realize there's some burdens you've been carrying that aren't yours to carry either. And I pray that you break free from them. You break free from the burden of trying to impress people, the burden of trying to prove your worth to people that can't see it. Staying in a relationship that you're not really happy in because you want to help somebody. Listen, Home Depot is for improvement, not you. You want to fix something, you go to Home Depot. I have tried to be a fixer-upper girlfriend. It don't work. You get really exhausted. People generally don't change unless they want to, unless they see an issue with their life or their choices. They don't change. So if you're running around, thank you for cutting me off. That was so nice of you. If you're running around trying to fix everybody up, make them better, maybe they don't want to be better. Work on you. And I'm not saying be selfish and self-centered, but work on you. What has God called you to do? Do that. I love you. Healthy boundaries are key. Turning off your phone when you're not at work is key. Not letting people take advantage of you just because you have a good heart. And that's another thing my daddy used to always tell me, Ash, not everybody has the same heart as you. You're going to get really, really hurt in life if you think that everybody has the same heart as you, because they don't. The way my heart works and the way my mind works, I'm always thinking about others. I think about others next to me while I'm driving. I think about others when I'm in a grocery store. I'm constantly thinking of others. How can I help them? How can I make their life easier? But one thing that I've realized is very rarely do those same people that I'm losing sleep over think about me. Very rarely do those same people that I'm, doing all this nice stuff for do nice stuff for me. Is that a reason not to do nice stuff? No. It's not. But understanding that your heart, if you have the capacity to love that big, also has a capacity to hurt that big, and to protect yourself, and to have healthy boundaries. I'm not saying build a wall up and never let anybody in, but maybe have a little fence where you can see them and you can decide if you open it or not. Build a fence. Build a fence around your heart and guard it. It says in Proverbs, guard your heart, for it's a wellspring of life. Your life flows from it. Ashleydawn, what's your toxic trait? I really struggle guarding my heart. I trust way too easily. I'm way too loyal. I care too much. I think about others too much. And I've hurt a lot because of it. Yes, it's my superpower. It is my superpower that I love so big. But what do you do with a superpower? You protect it. You harness it. What is a harness? A harness controls it. So I'm going to take my little superpower and I'm going to put a fence around it. And when I see that it is safe, I will open my fence. And if I see that it is not safe, I will keep my fence locked. Because I will guard my heart, because my life flows from it. I just want to encourage you, maybe you need to start guarding your heart. Maybe you need to stop having no boundaries and get some healthy ones. Maybe if you have unhealthy boundaries, you need to get some healthy ones. If you ever want to talk about it, my DMs are always open. I love y'all. God loves you way more. He does not want you to be a doormat. He does not want you to be walked all over. He does not want you to be taken advantage of. He sent his son so that his son wouldn't have that happen to him, so it wouldn't happen to any of us. It was done once and for all. We don't need to keep repeating it. I love y'all. You are seen, you are celebrated, you are loved. You believe it. Another thing is self-esteem, but I'll let that be for another video. I'll set you up. Watch my self-esteem video that's coming next. But I love you. I'll catch you in the next one.